2 years ago, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like you, Bhavya. I mean, I don't know. I think, like, to be very, very honest, like, there were two reasons I didn't really like you. One was that I was kind of jealous of you because you were always like surrounded with people, and like you were better than me than almost everything. And like the second thing was that I mean, you were a bit different back then. Not gonna lie. So I saw you as a very rude person back then.
Well, I feel I was a very rude person because I was surrounded by people who were very short tempered. So I inherited that and like I got that in by the people around me. So like I always thought that raising my voice would be something like a good way of controlling people. And I because generally I was made the leader, so I never experienced how I would feel if I was a member and not a leader. But as I grew up, and like even if I was sitting in my place and the class leader would come up to me and like shout at me that just be quiet, then I'd be like, why is this person shouting at me? And that's when I realized that, oh, I have been doing the same thing for like the past years. Like as I grew up, I found out that there are many things that I made a mistake. Like there are many times I made a mistake. Like, but I never knew that you didn't like me. And like, I think we were at peace in our own spaces. Like,
Yeah, we just existed in the class. We didn't really care about talking to each other. I mean, did you like me? Like, I don't know. Did you? You never really talked to me either, and
like
I thought you hated me.
I'm not gonna lie either. You were super annoying.
Yeah, there's so many people who come to me and say like, "Oh my God, Harshita, you were so annoying. What happened to you now?" They used to tell me this on my face. That was really annoying. And now I see people talking to me and they're like, "You're not annoying anymore and you're kind of creative and nice to talk to." So I'm like, okay, I don't know what happened, but people are talking to me now. Maybe I changed.
Yeah, and like, people always thought that I have lots of friends, I'm surrounded by people and like all that. But then what you see about someone is not always the truth. Because honestly, I didn't have friends back then. Like, yeah, I didn't have friends. Like, there's a big gap between
Hmm?
friends
Yeah?
and classmates. There is like, I used to not be able to differentiate. When I first heard this, I was like, how am I supposed to differentiate between who is my friend and who is not? But it's not necessary that you are not like, like in a you're not good with your classmates and you are only good with your friends. You can be like very happy with your classmates also, but you have a special connection with your friends, and that's the difference. And there are also people who pretend to be your friends, because so it'll look like you envy a person because you feel that they are surrounded by people. You might think that they are good at everything, but you
Yeah.
don't know about their flaws and like what exactly is going on with them.
The people who you like are not always your friends, and but your friends are the people who you like.
Oh, that's a nice.
I like how Sudarshan just came up with a random nice quote.
Yeah, sometimes when you talk, things just unfold and you get to know each other's side, which you never actually knew that they had.
True that. And not gonna lie, I never thought we'd be friends, like so good friends. Maybe like around the third wave of COVID, we started talking. No, second wave.
We started to connect. We started to help. We
Yeah,
started to help each other grow.
and our friendship started with a normal WhatsApp chat, I guess. Like one day I think it was an accidental
Yeah.
message that I sent you. Yeah, and then we had a conversation. We realized that we shared interests, and we worked on a project which miserably failed, but we got to know each other very well back then. So we continued, and we got to have more mutual friends, and we grew our friends up, and which is
Yeah.
so cute.
Right. I think, rather than being jealous of a person, we should look at their journey. If there's this big person, a millionaire, you like there are like people who are often jealous of them, but instead if we look at where they started, that might be the condition in which they started might be even poorer than us. Maybe they were just someone on the poverty line, but they grew to and they like got all that because of their hard work. But instead we just look at what they have achieved finally at the final result instead of their failures. So I think looking at their failures is something not everyone does, and if you do that, you will be able to get what you deserve.
Yeah, I just realized when, like, me being jealous of you, I just realized later on that the reason why your projects were better were because you worked for them and not just because I just did them for the sake of doing them. You actually tried to get the good ideas
Glad you
and stuff.
understand.
Yeah, because I just realized I did them for the sake of doing them, and you actually went on Pinterest at times, trying to get out good ideas, try to make it the best, and so it became the best. So there was no point to be jealous about it. It was all about learning from you, and I don't know if you saw, but I have been working on my projects much better, I guess. So teachers are liking it more,
Hmm. But then,
and
yeah, you can go ahead.
I forgot.
Okay, I'll go ahead. So, it's totally fine to not like someone. Even it's not like even the people who are like the best, even the best of the people, they have someone who they don't really like. And you don't, it's not like it's just about the vibe. Sometimes you just don't like the vibe of a person. But it's not necessary like you have to like them and you have to like change your mindset into liking them. You change your mindset about other things, but it's not necessary to particularly like a particular person. But that doesn't mean you don't like them, like you're just creating a mess about it in your mind.
Yeah.
That maybe you're just you have misunderstood a particular situation, and then on that, instead of knowing the facts, you are just building up things in your mind that that person did this because they want to do this, and then the entire thing gets into a mess. And then maybe even like after 10 years you meet that person, and that person will be in a totally different situation, and you'll be like, wait, weren't you the rich guy in our class? And that person will be like, no, I was like a middle class family man. And you'll be like, oh, I thought you were always arrogant because you were rich. This kind of a situation happens, and it's like, and people tend to regret that very much.
Yeah, it is okay to not like someone because everything is back in your mind, and like you might not be able to understand a person properly, and that might be a reason why you do not like them. But then later on, like 2 years or 3 years later, you might be mature enough to understand what they're going through, or like what's the personality of that person, and then you might start liking them and become friends. And later on, people tend to regret that process, but we are not supposed to regret that because we were the ones who weren't like made we are the ones who made the choice, and we weren't able to understand it properly.
Yeah, people change, and you might want to try making friends with people at different times.
That's right. But people, it's very scary that we have so many people around us, and people try to, like, take the advantage of the situation of you not liking a person. It's very possible that the person you don't like is a very good person, and you don't like them for certain reasons which are your own. It's not relevant with anything else in the world. It's just you that you don't like a particular person, but people try to poison your mind. They'll be like, yes, yeah, you're right in not liking that person, because even I don't like that person and I have so reasons. But if that happens, yeah, it's worth laughing, because if we let that like affect us, we will start to grow that more in our mind. We will like let that reach to what point I don't know, which is scary, because you are not disliking a person because you don't dislike them. You are disliking a person because someone else doesn't dislike them, and you are like, if you actually ask yourself, maybe you don't even believe in that. Maybe you don't even believe that that person has done something. Maybe a person just randomly comes and tells you that that person has cheated in the exam, and you start to think, it's the human nature to overthink. I worked so hard for the exam. I literally didn't sleep that night, and that person is just like copying and just wasting everything. And like, what about my hard work? And you get all this emotional, and maybe it's very much possible you go up to the teacher, and that's the end point, because maybe that person too worked hard, just as hard as you did. And just because of a small misunderstanding, you're gonna like create this mess in his life and the relationship between you both. That's a horrifying thing.
Yeah, as you were saying, emotions, like we get emotions when when we do not like a person. So emotions play a very important role in everything. So like someone poisons you, I mean not really, but then
Not literally.
not literally, but then when someone poisons your mind that that guy is not good, and then he cheated in some exam, and then you get the emotions, that emotions of anger and anger on him. That emotion is what is making you to think that that person is not good. But then if you think properly without any emotions, only then will you be able to understand properly.
And it's important to try and understand. And if you still hate someone, it's okay. Just accept that person, accept the character of the person. We talked about this in first episode. I mean, you both talked about it in the first episode of invalidation of accepting one's character as they are
Yeah.
and trying your best to understand how to react with that person next time so you can always be in that good relationship and not always not spoil it because you don't know when you might need someone. So
Yeah. Right. But I would like to correct you on one thing, that I think the word hate is a very strong word, and I don't think we should use it casually, because the word hate, it takes with it a lot of like emotions, as we discussed. And I don't think we should like casually use it for someone we just don't like, the character or the personality. That's our opinion on that person, or it's just our point of view. So I don't think we should use the word hate that easily, because it can hurt people. And so Darshan, I heard you had something to share with us about some cards and all. I eavesdropped on your conversation. So what was that cards thing about?
Yeah, so anything, like basically when we understand something, it's basically in our mind and psychology. So for example, in a card trick, if I can make this card vanish,
how did you do that?
and then if I just keep looking at the hand itself, people might think that I'm doing something with the with my hands, and then I just make it reappear out of nowhere. But then if I really believe in the magic, like I do vanish it and then look somewhere, like I'm perplexed, where did the card go, and then I bring it out of nowhere, only then will people believe that it's magic. So when you believe in the magic, only then the others will be able to believe it.
Right. And for my listeners, he just performed the trick, and I am actually perplexed. I'm actually. That was nice. That was nice. Yeah. And that's what it is. Because our emotions are what are controlling us. And at this point, if a person wants to know the truth, so then if they look at the hand, then they will be able to find out that, okay, this is not a magic, it's the hand. So that's what it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have to go, so I'll sum up my points really fast. A few points I'd like to put up is thinking about someone positively now. Just because you don't like someone later on, you might want to try and get to know them again. It's good to focus on the good points as well, because if you keep focusing on what you don't like, it's gonna be really difficult. So it's always good to respect people by the good points, even if you don't really like them, and try to make friends with them again because people change again. So it's good always to try and make friends with them.
Yeah.
Misunderstandings, we should just try to understand the person on the other end as well because you're not always right. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and I think I'll have to go right now.
Okay, I think this was a good conversation we had, because this is the first time we are trying this, like doing this in this kind of a way. Like we had don't have anything written, and we are
Yeah.
like totally doing it live. So I think this was a very beautiful session.
Yeah, we
What do
used
you
to
say?
read scripts before, but now we're just talking our hearts, which is
Yeah.
I feel this is much better than reading with scripts because I'll be like reading the single lines every time and then I'll be like, what do I say?
Yeah. Yeah, because though we have written the scripts and though what we are saying is like our own perspective, but still, the listener would think that we are just reading things out. They won't really realize that it's something like it's heartfelt. They can't feel the genuine thing.
yeah. Because it's teens talk, so we talk and not read.
Exactly.
So, as we come at the end of the session, we'd like to put out an outro question for our listeners. You can DM us the answers on Instagram. The ID is teenstock underscore teen talks. Teenstock underscore teen talks.
You'll find the ID in the description.
Yeah. So the question is, have you ever made friends with someone who you didn't really like, or did you misunderstand someone? Did someone misunderstand you, and then later on you just realized that it was just a misunderstanding, and it was no one was really wrong with us. So if you have any stories, we'd love to hear from you.
Exactly. It was great talking to you. And the listeners, thanks for listening patiently. And I hope this helped you. Hasta la vista.
Hasta
Hasta
la
la vista.
vista. Bye. Stop recording. I have to go to school. I'm getting